Title: The Fall of Grumbaraz. Long after the War of the Ring, when the lands of men turned to rebuilding and the memory of Mordor faded, something stirred deep in the withered heath beyond the grey mountains. From beneath its scorched ridges emerged a host, not of orcs or goblins, but of Olog-hai, the last and most terrible breed of troll. Unlike their dull-witted kin, these were cunning, disciplined, and armored like siege towers. Their skin was mottled iron and obsidian. Eyes yellow and sunken. Some stood 3 times the height of a dwarf and bore weapons meant to level walls, not spar in combat. Their leader, known in whispers as Gerdhak the Tower Breaker, wielded a pillar of granite as a mace and wore the skull of a dragon on his shoulder. Driven by a dark will, whether Sauron's remnants or some new evil, these monsters marched on Grumbaraz, a high mountain stronghold of the Iron Fist Dwarves. Grumbaraz was ancient, carved before the First Age ended, hidden in the jagged peaks of the far east. It held one of the last true flame forges, where red steel, iron infused with volcanic heart fire, was still shaped. The dwarves of Grumbaraz were secretive, stubborn, and feared no darkness. Until they saw the Olog-hai. Scouts returned with eyes wide in terror. Captain Doric Firevane, war chief of the gates, could barely speak. They walk in daylight. And they speak our names. Within a day, the tremors began. From the horizon, a thunder not of storm but of feet. Hundreds of Olog-hai advanced in formation, flanked by war beasts and black-armored hill trolls. Their skin glinted like rock in the sun. The dwarves manned the gates, hundreds strong, but even the bravest knew this was no ordinary siege. Doric looked to the elders and said simply, "We hold, or we fall." On the first day, the trolls reached the lower gates and began their assault. Great towers of stone and bone rolled forward, pushed by slave ogres. Giant battering rams, made from whole trees wrapped in chain, crashed against the stone. But Grumbaraz's outer walls were rune-sealed. They held. Archers from the battlements loosed bolts the size of javelins, and war machines hurled firebombs laced with sulfur. Still, the trolls came. Then, at dawn of the third day, the mountain shook. Gerdhak stepped forward, dragging his granite mace. With a roar that shook snow from the cliffs, he struck the gate himself. The stone cracked. Each blow was like a drumbeat of doom. By nightfall, a breach formed. The dwarves had one chance. The Forge Guard, elite warriors clad in red steel, charged into the breach, axes blazing. They met the Olog-hai head-on. Doric led them, shouting war songs as his hammer crushed the knee of a towering troll. He was struck back, his shield splintered, but rose again. Beside him fought Runa Stoneward, the forge's master smith, wielding twin flame axes that hissed as they touched Olog flesh. She severed a troll's wrist, ducked a hammer swing, and leapt into its chest with a scream. But the enemy was endless. Inside the halls, the dwarves triggered traps, collapsing tunnels, igniting chambers filled with oil. Dozens of trolls died screaming in fire. And yet the trolls learned. They pulled the wounded aside, they flanked the halls. They spoke in a tongue filled with pain, coordinating their assault. By the 7th day, the main forge was breached. Gerdhak entered. Twice the height of any dwarf, his mace glowing with the heat of broken stone, he roared, "Burn this place to ash!" Doric stood in his path. They clashed like titans. Mace to warhammer. Stone to steel. Every blow shook the mountain. Every step crushed a pillar. Doric fought with fury, until Gerdhak caught his hammer mid-swing, lifted him by the beard, and hurled him into the molten pit. Runa screamed. She leapt at Gerdhak, axes flying. She severed his hand, but not before his other arm swept her into the anvil wall. With their leaders dead, the dwarves fell back, sealing the upper halls. And in a final act of defiance, the High Smith lit the core of the flame forge. The mountain erupted inward. Grumbaraz collapsed in smoke and fire, burying both troll and dwarf in stone. Weeks later, explorers found nothing but ash and shattered ruins. But in the deepest caverns, they say a single echo remains, a heavy, slow heartbeat beneath the stone. And a voice, low and grinding. "We will rise again,